important when we're like streaming because it's the news and you're not on
But by the
camera,
way,
Chris. You're sort of lurking off the side. You're
you did
probably
put in that.
scoot more this
Let
way.
me see if I can get my
You
mouse.
did put in that army for children to be massacred, right?
There you go. There you go. Now you're on screen. Very good.
Hey,
You've almost got this streaming thing down after 60 live streams. You're almost there. Oh wait,
I've
I
done
think
more
we're
than
live. What? Oh no. Welcome everyone.
oh, are we there?
We are.
Okay, then we can start.
We can. Would you like to start us?
Hey, absolutely. Hello, everybody. Hey, I'm Richard Garriott, also known to some of you as Lord British. We are here for the release 60. 60. Can you believe that? 60 releases in a row.
I can't believe it.
It's shocking, really shocking. And for those of you who don't know, I am the creative director on the project. The project is Shroud of the Avatar, which I presume most of you have already been inside playing. But for those of you who don't know, Shroud of the Avatar is sort of the spiritual successor to our previous work in Ultimas, and a little bit of Tabula Rasa, and a little bit of other things we brought in from other games. And solo player, online, multiplayer, all that rolled into one. And we think it is a hopefully you all believe also, those of you who have already been playing, a worthy successor to the things we've done before. But Star, did you want to jump in today right in with the Prizonation?
All right. We're going to start crazy, just with the prizes right off the bat. And if you would like to win a prize, you have, how many ways can people win prizes, Chris? Do you know?
I don't know. How many?
There are two ways let's see if I can line it up. There are two ways to win a prize. So you can win a prize by making a purchase on our store, but no purchase is required because that is the law. So if you would like to win a prize, you can also just log into the game, get into chat, and type Horn of Plenty. But you need to do it in the game,
Horn of Plenty. Not
in Twitch chat and not in Discord.
Not Discord.
You have to do it inside the game. And either one of those will get you eligible for prizes. And we have all sorts of cool prizes. And you're going to learn the list of prizes now when we read out the winners. Chris, would you like to do it with your mouth?
I'd love to. The first winner is named Character. They win a prize. Oh, wait, that's the column top part thing in there. The first name is Nindo Gadares, who wins a row lot property deed.
Whoa, we're starting out with the biggest prize at the top.
This is
crazy.
Wrong.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
Next up is Aster Cerebrus. They win a dragon mask. Next up is Polinan Carsoni. They win an ornate greenhouse 4-story row house. That's a really long one. The next one is Dork-ish. They win a barn 2-story village home. These are really good prizes, Star.
I know. I did a good job selecting the prize. Thank you.
Next up is Anticules Aurelius, who wins an ornate side.
Which is expiring.
Make sure and go check out the expiring stuff. Marina Moonflower wins a 2018 Jack-O-Lantern set. Wait. Did I say that wrong?
No,
that's right. Okay. Red Thunder wins a 2018 Jack-O-Lantern glowing mask. I thought I'd read the wrong line. Spungwa wins a giant Grim Reaper statue with magic portal.
Wait, magic portal to what?
Magic portal dungeon.
Dungeon entrance. It's the dungeon entrance.
Last but not least is Arthur Morgan, who wins an ornate gambler hat.
What? No, that's wrong. It should be a dragon mask.
That's not what it says right here.
We don't even have a gambler hat.
What is a gambler hat?
I don't know. There is no such thing as a gambler hat. It should be a dragon mask.
All right.
It's a dragon mask.
Who makes these lists?
I don't know. It should be a dragon mask. So we'll get that corrected. But you want a dragon mask. I'm not sure what a gambler
That's
or
good.
Nick
We
Gambler
should
had.
make those. Who wants a
Gotta
gambler
know when
hat?
to hold them, know when to fold them. All right.
Hey,
So speaking
Yeah,
of expiring, a bunch of stuff is expiring, including this all of our spooky stuff and all of our Elven bundles and Kobold bundles, which is
Oh,
what.
let's see what that
Did you
is
see
now.
now? You get it? Do you see?
I thought it was a pineapple.
Well, it could also be a tribute because SpongeBob SquarePants, the creator of SpongeBob, passed
don't make
away.
me sad.
Oh, so that could have been a pineapple, but it was meant to be. It was meant to be a bundle, like a bag,
Now
like a
I get
bundle.
it.
See,
Star has been challenging us prior to the stream starting to guess what that was, and Chris was the first to guess the pineapple, which I concurred with.
Yeah.
And then the loot bag was the other one that we went, which I guess is sort of a bundle.
no, a bundle is a bag, right? No, you got it right. You said a bag, which is what I intended. A bundle, a bag, right? So it's got the little string. See, it's got the little string right there, and
It could also be a chicken head, and that's like the little beak there. See the little beak, the little. See, it's got the little things on its head like a chicken, like a rooster.
No, it couldn't be. No, now you're wrong.
Yeah, I'd go there before I'd go to bundle.
Yeah. All right. So Elven and Kobold are expiring today. Today is the last day. Literally at midnight, Elven and Kobold bundles go away, and all the spooky stuff goes away. The 2018 spooky stuff goes away completely forever, and the recurring spooky stuff goes away and won't come back till fall of next year. So it's your last chance to get all that stuff. But if you make any of those purchases today, you're going to help us hit our stretch goals, of which we've already hit a bunch. And the stretch goals for Release 60, players requested that we bring back some of the stretch goals that we hadn't hit before. So we made the stretch goals a cornucopia for our harvest theme of role play, of dragons and dungeons and role play. Notice I was very particular about the order that I read those in, right?
Yes, that was very good to make sure we don't,
Figure it out.
Yeah. No one will figure it out. No one ever will figure it out. All right. And so we've already hit the first one. So anyone who made a purchase over the last few Fridays during our sales has already, or if you participate in our rewards program, that's our monthly rewards program, you've already made yourself eligible for those. And so we've already gotten the dragon masks. So we already have one dragon mask. But we're actually going to create a new set of them that are different colors, and they're going to have some little smoke coming out of them. A new set of ether weapons. Wrong bundle. Oh, I wrote the wrong bundle. Oh, I wrote the wrong kind. Sorry, it's not Elven and Kobold. It's Elven and Viking. Oops.
Oh, that's also why somebody was saying in the chat stream that they bought the wrong bundle.
Oh, no, it's Viking. Sorry.
Oh.
Man, we're first we wrote a gambler. We made up a new hat, a gambler hat, and I wrote the wrong bundle on there. So we are just full of bugs today. Someone please put those in the bug forums. Please report all bugs in the bug forums, and we'll get those fixed immediately. It's Viking. Elven and Viking.
Now it looks repaired behind you versus natural. So if you guys get bored, you should go highlight it better. But whatever.
Well, no, I fixed the bug.
I know it's yeah.
Bug was reported, and I fixed the bug. So there you go.
Stop the stream. We'll pause the stream for 5 minutes.
No, we're stopping the stream.
Okay.
We're gonna start over. We're gonna start the stream completely over.
Hi, my name's Lord British.
Hi, my name is Star Long. Oh, I didn't even introduce myself. I just started talking.
You're on your part where you're supposed to tell people stuff.
Hey, I'm Star Long. There, done.
Who's the other guy with the mustache?
Oh yeah, why do we have mustaches?
You mean the guy who's winning at Movember?
No,
that guy with the mustache.
Oh, I beg to differ. I am winning.
Did you look in the last 15 minutes?
What? What? Have you surpassed me? Are you making more than $500?
Oh yeah.
What?
It might be that I'm $1 ahead of you. This is for Yeah.
Oh, it's Viking and Kobold. I erased the wrong thing. Have you fixed the dragon
That's
mask
hilarious.
on the prizes? Have you fixed that part? It said gambler hat on there. There is no.
There's no such thing as a gambler hat.
Okay.
Hi.
Who
This
put
is
that on
live
there then?
TV, everyone. This is
Okay.
what it's like.
All right. Kobold and Viking. Now it's fixed.
And
Yeah,
that was
sure it
the
is.
last prize.
So we start over again?
Dragon mask.
Right. Dragon mask.
Yeah. Somebody was trolling Star.
Okay. With the gambler hat.
Yeah.
All right.
Was
Oh,
So
that's a Red
my
Dead
name is
thing.
Mark
Yeah.
Fish.
Ah, I get it. I get it now. All right.
Oh.
Oh my God. We are just full of fun today. I think it's the mustaches. I think all our brains are going to mustaches. How are you $1 ahead of me now? Is it him?
Because who? No.
Okay,
we have
this-
some really good fans who don't like the idea of you beating me at the Movember. So I will call out Frank, Master of the Mint.
I mean, the important part is that we are
Thank
taking
you.
money for men's health, not the fact that I am losing to Chris, even though I was winning, clearly winning. But the important part is that we have a Movember team. Today is the last day. Mustache of the Avatar. That is why we are sporting these amazing
Fabulous.
mustaches. There we go. All right.
Does it make me look younger? They keep talking about how I look so much older than when the project started.
No. Okay. On to more stuff. So the stretch goal. So
Where to donate? People are asking online where to donate to your Movembers.
the link is in the last update. You can, if you go to our last update, you can find the link to there. So if you go to our website and you go to the last update, or actually any of the updates that we posted in November, you'll find a link in the projects to support section of our updates. And Mustache of the Avatar. Or if you Google Mustache of the Avatar, it'll take you to it. Yeah.
Donate to Catnip Games is my thing. I think you can do Movember.com/catnip games.
Yeah. Right.
Look at this fabulous mustache.
All right,
My
anyway.
wife loves it.
So Dragon Mass, Ether Weapons, a new set of Ether Weapons, construction decorations, these cool cranes and pulleys and things like that. Torture decorations, because nothing goes with a construction decoration like a torture decoration. That goes with the dungeon roleplay. And next up, we're getting close. We're almost at 63,000, so only a couple of thousand to go. Was going to be the Traveler Wagon, which is it's like when you first played the Ultimas and the Gypsy told your fortune. It's going to be a new wagon house decoration that will go with that you can place on your property, and it's going to have all cool decorations like that. It's going to feel very much like the opening of the Ultima sequence. And if we make it past, and it's just this Friday and next Friday, because release 61 is coming out on December 13th, and you're like, what? It already? Well, yes. The last two releases of the year, every year, instead of the last Thursday of the month, they come out midway through the month because of Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays. Because we actually do take time off and spend time with our families, believe it or not. So we do the releases early. So again, if you make a purchase, you'll get all those stretch goals. And every time you make a purchase, it adds up to the counter. We track all the money. It helps us get closer to those stretch goals. So the more you purchase, the more stretch goals we get. So it works. It's a synergistic thing. All right. Let's see. Release 6, and all this is in celebration of Release 60, which was amazing. This team, once again, I'm so proud of them. They just get so much done in tiny amounts of time. Release 60 was, literally 2 weeks of development. But even with that short development cycle, we got more expansions to Fishing Phase 2. We got a new fishing expedition scene. And if you didn't see the last live stream we did, go watch it on YouTube. We had a fishing contest. It was awesome. It was a real nail biter. Someone caught a shark.
I think that was the first one.
No. There were large sharks caught before that.
Really?
Oh yeah. But it's super
Oh,
rare.
wow.
I mean, it's the rarest fish, and someone caught it during the live stream, like in the 45-minute window of the fishing contest. Someone caught a shark, and like no after that, no one else was gonna win. But we had Mia Sway, like she caught. That's it. Thank you for reminding me. It was Mia Sway. She caught the shark, and then everyone else was trying to catch up to beat that. But it was amazing.
There were like 200 people fishing.
Oh yeah, 200 people fishing simultaneously. Like we maxed out the scene, had to spin up another one. That one almost maxed out. It was crazy. It was really cool, and we were live.
I just want to throw out a comment about fishing in general. One of the things I do when I get on is I go, since I have a giant friends list, I can look at all my friends and see where gangs of people are hanging out to go visit. And these days when I log on, I'm always going like, wow, there's a town I've never visited that has a whole bunch of people in it. I mean, what's going on over there? And I'll jump in, and of course it's fishing. And there's like a mob of people that are moving around, as we've hoped might happen, where people are following the celestial favoritism of fishing spots. And that's making not just players and fisher folk go visit all those towns, but it lets me go visit all the towns too. And so it's actually a really fun happening. Fishing is, I think, turned out to be just a real joy to both participate in and to observe how it's affecting the game and the community.
Yep. And we got fishing holes added to the Alpine player-owned town templates. We got a rotating bonus that goes around to player-owned towns every day. Get a rotating bonus that you can catch a very rare fish, the pacu. We made it so you can fish while sitting. We got more fishing recipes. We increased the salvage rate for patterns for grandmasters. We balanced bludgeon. We increased the rate that player-made items appear in loot by 100 times, which basically means they finally actually appear in loot at a normal rate, so you can actually see them. And people are now posting like, I found this cool item. So it's actually working as designed. And a new bow, the ornate Viking longbow. We made it so there's a set of items, crown items, that you can buy anywhere. You actually don't have to physically go to the crown vendor. New winter holiday items. So the newest round of winter holiday items are in. And release 61, just coming up in a few weeks. Actually 2 weeks. It's going to be cool, more fishing stuff. So fishing skills. We're gonna also Krampus. We're gonna be talking about him in the next segment. He's our latest boss. As you can see, we've been having this pace where we add more bosses every release. He's going to be the newest seasonal boss. He's going to be awesome. And the ability to bind anywhere. So you're going to be able to bind to anytime you go into a scene, you will bind to that scene, and you'll be able to use a new type of teleport scroll to teleport to that scene. And that's town scenes, adventure scenes, wherever. So there's a new teleport scroll that's going to allow you to teleport anywhere in the game. So that's going to increase quality of life. And then 2019 is going to be even more amazing. So backslide items are going to be enchantable and masterworkable. Baby dragons. You're going to be able to store your vendor separate from your house. We're going to have a new polearm type pronged weapons, so the tridents and pitchforks. Crafting specialization, where you'll be able to choose your effect when you're doing masterworking and enchanting. There's going to be Grandmaster only effects. So these are effects in crafting that you only get access to once you achieve Grandmaster. More loot improvements. More store weapons, more fishing, more and better boss fights. And then all of this culminates at the end of 2019 with episode 2, which is going to conclude a revamp of the journal and the quest system, the theater system, treasure hunting with treasure maps, item affinity and reputation, so you'll be able to level up items as you use them. So you kill 100 skeletons with a sword, and it's going to get the title of like Skeleton Slayer, and it's going to have power against skeletons, and you'll be able to trade that item with other players. taming expansions, so you'll be able to, as you level up your pet, you're going to get more skills for that pet, and you'll actually be able to control when your pet uses those skills. So if your bear has a knockback skill, you'll be able to trigger when that skill happens. Expanded permission system for things like containers and doors. So be able to, as you're doing things like building out your dungeon or your house, whatever, you'll be able to set conditionals on things like a chest or a door that says, hey, put this particular item in the chest to unlock it or whatever. So 2019 is going to be very, very cool. We're very excited.
And very busy for the team.
Yes, and very, very, very busy. And next, so we've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. So we're going to have 3 deep dives. We're going to have a deep dive about story, one about combat, and one about player dungeons. But before we get into that, we are going to honor some folks. So let's see. I need to call them. And So I'm going to temporarily.
Not just that.
Oh yes. I don't think I want to show people.
Oh yeah.
Things. All right, so we're going to
show them those people.
Oh yeah.
There's some people.
Okay. So Chris is going to talk while I do this. He's going to just say some stuff like, what did you work on during the Release 60?
Thanks, Star. I'm Chris Spears, a.k.a. Atos in Game. I'm the tech director for the project, but I also do lots of design stuff as well. So I get a lot of hate because I'm also the guy who watches metrics more than anybody else and tries to balance things. For R60, I'm trying to remember, but I don't think I nerfed anything. I don't think anyone has an excuse to be mad at me. I did actually do some polish to try to improve the bludgeoning tree. That is one thing I'll talk about. I'll talk a little bit about it in combat stuff. But that is, now that we are live and trying in a more of a mature state of balance of things, I'm trying to make sure. I always used to say like, oh, well, I'll balance things. Well, the pendulum may swing too far, and then I'll swing it back, and then and it'll end up in the middle after multiple things. But really, what we found is if I let that pendulum swing too far, and then I take the stuff away, then that's the players scream nerf, 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 nerf. They can't agree with me, so I'm trying to make sure not.
Hey, welcome, Star. Still trying to get everybody else on, so just hold with us for a second.
Okay. Are we ready?
No, I'm just muting. I gotta add more people. So you keep talking.
Okay. But anyway, so I did take a pass on bludgeoning this release. As some people saw, it did improve things some. It is still not on par with the others. That is kind of one of the design philosophies. We try to follow those. We're trying to make sure, just like in the magic schools, with the combat schools as well, that it's not all apples to apples comparison where you can just say, well, this one does this and this one does exactly this, and therefore this one's greater than that one. That's the type of stuff we want to avoid. So that's each tree has some attributes that define it. The bludgeoning tree has several attributes that define it, and it's supposed to be the tree for basically for debuff, for controlling your opponent, for stunning your opponent, for debuffing their armor for your party, for debuffing their weapon damage. But the reason I believe, and the thing I'm going to be adjusting on this, that it doesn't quite live up to its expectations, is that there's too many other things that can do the same type of stuff. So there's no equivalent to the break weapon, break armor. But there is an equivalent to stun, and everything else can stun. And also because of how the stun system works right now, it's easy to get your stuns drowned out by other people. So that is actually the next thing I'm going to be working on to fix, is working on getting that balanced out.
All right. Now I'm going
ready?
to switch over.
All right, Star, are you ready to put us all back on? We can't hear you guys.
Can you hear me now?
No. Now they can hear us. All right.
Now we can. All right. Excellent. So passing it back over to me now?
Yep.
Excellent. Well, welcome our 3 folks who have joined us here: Amber Rain, Rada Torment, and Antrax Artek. Thank you for joining us so much. We have Something that those of you who've been in the community for a while will recognize that we've done in the past. We only do this once every few months, but we want to award an Order of the New Britannian Empire, basically a knighthood for the game Shroud of the Avatar for New Britannia. And in particular today, the group we wanted to honor, the three people I just mentioned who are online with us, they were the leaders of the Ambassador Program, which was a volunteer program where community members had basically a multifunctional role where they were both kind of representatives of the community, but also caretakers of the sub-communities of a specific language. Their mission was to welcome and onboard Outlanders who were new to the community, but do that within their native language and maintain the respective language forums as a fun and friendly place. And while at the moment we are unable to provide the bandwidth to support the Ambassador Program, but these three individuals, and in particular others I know work with them as well, but these three folks did a Herculean task and were really essential to the initial spread of bringing online the community that we now have within those languages. And so Amber, for in the case of French, Rada in the case of Spanish, and Antrax in the case of Italian. You three really did perform service well above and beyond the call of duty, and for that we wanted to extend our sincere thanks, and specifically also award all three of you the Order of the New Britannian Empire. So thank you very much. My thanks, my congratulations. I know the team back in Austin feels that same way, and we will get to you the actual. Oops, I should have actually brought one of those with me to have here to show you. I don't have one here sitting at my desk, but I think Amber, you already know what one looks like, don't you?
I have one already from 2014 for Avatars Radio.
Indeed, I think you might.
At which point I have to point out that I made it known that the High Priest of Chaos shouldn't be dealing with order.
Well, personally, I find that particularly nice in that case that you now have both. You have two orders of New Britannian Empire, and to my knowledge, you only have one of the Dark Star medallions of Chaos. So. I'm not sure if Star's gonna have to do something to keep up, but
you're winning, Lord British.
I actually have 3 CNBEs.
Okay. Well, anyway, Amber, as you know, you're incredibly wonderful and valued member of the community, but also for you, Rada and Antrax. Thank you all so very, very much. We really couldn't be where we are today without the work that you guys have all three of you have done for the community. So thanks.
Thank you very much. I am honored that you have been an ambassador.
Well, thank you. And again, we'll get those to you either in person or via mail at the nearest possible opportunity. All right.
Congratulations.
Merci très beaucoup.
Dorian.
Shrinkum.
Back to you, Dark Star.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. We'll call you right back, Richard.
Doing a good job there. He's trying to fill in his Viking and Kobold bundles there in the back. So
all right.
Let's see if we can figure that out.
Call you right back, Richard. Okay. Bye. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, new Knights of Britannia. Well deserved. Yeah, you got to do it in little scribbles. All right, welcome back. All right, as a reminder, the reason we're scribbling back in there is because we have some things expiring today. Today is the last day to get the spooky items, the Viking bundles and the Kobold bundles. I mistakenly wrote Elven up there before, but that was a test which you guys passed. What'd you give it? You're giving up? That's it? That's how much you're going to do? You're going to color in that much and you're going to give up? It's harder than it looks, isn't it? You see how much work I do.
Need to get my 4-year-old in here to color that for me.
Yeah.
She's really good at it.
All right. Wait, do we have more prizes?
We have more prizes!
Yay!
Prizing! Remember, the secret phrase is Horn of Plenty. Go in the game to say it, to enter the prizing, or make any purchase on the store, but no purchase necessary. Here are the winners! Oh, this got fixed, so.
Oh, it doesn't say gambler hat now?
No, it doesn't.
That was a really good troll. That was really good, and I totally fell for it. Well, actually, he did because he read it. Okay, do it.
Rowlott property deed goes to Hello Lord British, not Hello Lord British. Magnix Black Tier. The Dragon Mask goes to Delanis Nigerian. The ornate greenhouse 4-story row home goes to Raxar Slaves a Lot. The barn 2-story village home goes to Robin Hood. The ornate scythe goes to Dirk Bluenose. The 2018 Jack-o'-lantern set, which expires today, goes to Nassin Valu. The 2018 Jack-o'-lantern glowing mask goes to Lassazar Zankson. And the giant Grim Reaper statue with Magic Portal Dungeon goes to Fentium. Goodbye.
Congratulations, winners! All right, and we're actually tracking on time. It is insane. I cannot believe it. We're on to our story deep dive. So we're gonna give my mustache brother Atos a break.
Who's winning now?
I know, this is ridiculous. I cannot believe you're winning.
Also, before
but it's what actually the most important thing is that we are raising money for Men's Health, not that I am losing. That is not what is important.
Before I go, I don't always read all the stuff that's on there. I didn't know who's getting the ONBE stuff today. I just wanted to call out Antrax Artec as someone who helps me a ton in terms of combat balance. Oh, yeah. And pointing, not just combat balance one way, but also pointing out problems with other things and being really good feedback. So, so happy to see you get that. I didn't know you were getting that today. So congrats.
All right. So what we thought we'd spend the next segment doing is talking about the story. And there are multiple aspects of the story. There's the story in the game. There are books that support the game. There are quests, etc. So our two primary folks that are working on story are Keith Sanyo Quinn and Richard Lord British Garriott. So, gentlemen, what can you tell us about the story while I scribble?
Yeah,
and update our
total because your art skills.
We are at, I have 62,000, but we're actually at 64,000, so we're only 1,000 away from the traveler wagon. Woo! Who doesn't want a traveler wagon at their house? Relive your days of having your fortune told at the beginning of Ultima.
Exactly. The traveler wagon, also known commonly as the gypsy wagon from the fortune telling. But hey, yeah. So looking forward to having a discussion with Keith and I here about the story.
We have story in our role playing game. Is that what you say?
Indeed, but let's start though with something that kind of is a adjunct to the story, or which has some sub stories about it, which are the seasonal creatures. Because last month and this month both saw new seasonal creatures coming in. At least from my perspective, I can't tell you how excited I am that up until maybe release late 40s or early 50s, we've basically been in none of the seasonal creatures, or maybe one of them. And I think the lapin, the bunny rabbit, was in early, but other than that, we had to wait a long time. But now they've been coming in fast and furious. The Pumpkinhead went in last month. The Krampus is coming in this month.
Right.
The
Atavist a few months before.
The Atavist and the lapin are the deep past. But Keith, why don't you tell people a little bit about? I mean, they've probably some of them have had a chance to experience Pumpkinhead. The Krampus is new to everybody. Tell everybody a little bit about the quest to find them, and then what the experience will be like, and where those experiences might be the sweet spots for where to have those experiences.
Well, and isn't Pumpkinhead going away?
It is going
away. Hurry up, right?
Yes. Each seasonal creature is out for 2 months, and then the quest goes dormant. some of the elements stick around, but the main boss goes away until his season comes around again. So I'll mention before we talk about the quest, the NPCs in the world might also know about the legends of these creatures. So Pumpkinhead appears in Drakfall. So if you wander around Drakfall and talk to some of the NPCs, some of them might respond to the keyword Pumpkinhead, and they'll tell you what they know of Pumpkinhead. So the world is becoming bigger. These aren't just NPCs that have like 5 or 6 generic responses, and then it's the exact same response to the guy next to him. Some NPCs have different responses about different things, such as Drakfall people know about Pumpkinhead. But if you want to get the quest from Pumpkinhead, you got to go to Castle Brittany in central Brittany, and you look for one of the 2 children. There's on the ground floor, you'll find Ronan running around and perhaps getting lost in a hedge maze. And then
Are you talking about Pumpkinhead or Krampus?
Both.
Okay.
So if you're looking today for Pumpkinhead, you can find Ronan, and you can mention the word Pumpkinhead to him. If you want to talk to Kinga instead, Kinga is upstairs in the library. She's gathering information about different things. She likes to research, where Ronan likes to run around and get involved. He does before he learns, and that's how he learns. So that's you talk to them about Pumpkinhead, and they'll tell you about the legend of Pumpkinhead, and they'll give you the quest to go fight him. And there is a legend of Pumpkinhead. We've woven him into the New Britannia story. He was once part of the ancient Vauban Guard. People may know Vauban Pass, named after the Vauban Guard, or vice versa. I haven't decided which way it is yet, but it could be one way or the other. But there was a horrible battle way back in the day, and the guard were these bunch of bad guys. They were beheaded, but their leader substituted their heads for pumpkins and brought them back, and now they keep coming back in the East Vauban foothills. There's pumpkin patches, and you can go fight Pumpkinhead there. And then once you kill him, you come back to Kinga or Ronan and turn in your quest. But these kids are explorers, and they know a lot about the world. So when we put aside things of Pumpkinhead and we bring in Krampus, you can ask them about Krampus. And they'll tell you Krampus is a horrible, vile, hairy creature who was seen in North Palatus. And you can go to the cities of North Palatus and you can ask some of the NPCs about Krampus, and they'll tell you his legend. But you'll want to go, not yet, but you'll want to go to the East Sanctus Forest and then fight the Krampus on his home turf there and get involved in the quest. I won't give you the specifics. The quest isn't too elaborate, but it's a nice little quest that works with the story, and you'll fight the minions of Krampus and Krampus himself in his lair, in Krampus Garden.
And I would like to point out also that for those who didn't recognize the names of those kids, Kinga and Ronan, those are the names of my kids.
What?
That I requested get put in the game for this sort of purpose. But something Keith did not know until we talked about it a few weeks ago, a month ago, I guess, was that when he chose to make Ronan running around in the bottom floor of the castle and even running around in the hedge maze nearby, he didn't know the story of this last summer. Ronan actually ran off at Disney World in Paris and was lost for 2 hours, and we found him via the Disneyland camera system running around in the hedge maze in Disneyland. So hey, it's in fact he's paralleled a real event in Ronan's life, running around in hedge mazes. So anyway, I'm
very proud of that accident.
Apropos. And I also appreciated your description of them. They are explorers, and that Ronan does before he learns. He learns by doing versus the other way around. All true. All right.
These kids know what's going on, and possibly in the future they might also get similar simple quests like this that you can pick up something from them and go do it and turn it in back to them.
And then, of course, beyond that, now that we have this double 2 in a row, a rare double in a row with Pumpkinhead and Krampus coming online for November and December,
Can I also mention, by the way, that the Pumpkinhead, he's got his own look. He's his own new special model, and as are his minions. And Krampus is getting his own new exciting look as well. Big horns and big tongue, scary looking dude.
And when can people start looking for him tomorrow, or when can they start looking?
No, he'll appear and when Release
Next
61 goes live on December 13th.
Great, perfect. Okay, and that now will take us. There still will remain 2 seasonal creatures. They will be the Envy Angel, which is sort of the monster play on who's the guy? Cupid. Yeah, thank you, Cupid. And then in the fall next year, we'll do a Harvest Scarecrow creature, and that will kind of round out the full 6 of the seasonal creatures that we planned originally, and that'll be exciting to see those come up. And those, by the way, also those 2 we plan to be episode 2 area creatures. So those to go explore and find those, you'll travel into the episode 2 zones. Which brings us up to the concept of episode 2, which is you guys have heard us begin to start talking about that. That's one of the things I'm also excited to see us shifting modes into kind of polishing and refining and finishing off the last dots and T's, dotted I's and cross T's of episode 1. And we're beginning to not just plan, but detail the episode 2 spaces. Already, when 4 months ago or so, we did a little sneak discussion, or at least some forecasting about episode 2. So some of you may remember seeing the Scott Jones sort of here's how we might imagine it looking map, which which some of you may have seen, but since it was really just a proof of concept, we're not pulling it back up now as we begin to plan the real thing, which will probably change from that a little bit. But it included both the kind of serpentine islands up to the northwest above Novia, and also began to show that the Hidden Veil was up above the eastern end of Novia. But the general plan there is that there'll be an entire band that will go across the top of Novia, which will then still leave us with a rectangular world. And so by having a rectangular world, that means we can again produce a cloth map for the totality of episode 2, bring in both new lands as well as the Hidden Veil. And so as Keith now has begun to plan the plot, he's beginning to think about and plan out the strategies for how people move from Novia. Well, there'll be multiple connections over time. There'll be the way that people find their way there. Why don't you give him a little taste of your plans there for the Western Passage, the Western thought is how they lead up into the new space.
Taste. Just a little one.
Little taste.
So in our current game, we start you off in the Isle of Storms, and then we bring you to what we call the starter scenes, which might be the Battle of Solus Bridge or Blood River Massacre. And in the starter scene, you learn the first bits of fiction without being overwhelmed with too much. So I think we can have a similar situation for this new land. We are imagining it all as a series of islands, an archipelago probably, that the initial introduction is probably, in my mind, I reserve the right to change my mind later, is probably going to be from Norreach. So if players know the area of Novia, is the bigger island of Norgard, and then Norreach is a smaller island next to that, near the city of Mud. And Norreach right now is a sleepy little town, but right above it is going to be where the new islands are going to be. So it just makes sense that is the launching point. And my thought is that you would talk to a first contact of a New Britannian fellow or woman, and they would give you the quest that says, okay, we know about these new lands. We're going to send you there and learn some more about it. So from Norreach, you then travel to the new lands. I've also have some other ideas in mind. It might be some sort of a first scene that's not quite the new lands, but it's your first teaser. This would be the starter scene version of the new episode 2 area. probably some sort of shipwreck or secluded area where you're on an island and you're seeing the first new creatures, whether it's a monster that you fight or a new type of NPC that you interact with that is not an elf or a satyr, but is a new thing entirely that gives you a little tease of what's coming next. And my hope, we could decide this later. It's up to the execs if they want to do this or not. But my hope is that even episode 1 players can come to this scene and learn about some of the cool new things they're going to see in the next area. That's my dream.
Yeah, and I think that's a good one too. I endorse that dream as well. And actually, one more thing that I'd like to give you a lead in to talk about is has to do with the new races, the new sentient beings to interact with. Now, for those of you, obviously most of you know the plot of episode 1 reasonably well by now, and it involves engaging in threads around the 3 principles of truth and love and courage, the ultimately attaining the dread artifacts, and then the shroud of the Avatar, which many of you have earned. And I've just congratulated a few people on Twitter today for earning their shrouds. And in episode 2, as we move into these new lands, we'll begin to explore not just the 3 principles, but also the 8 virtues that spawn from them. So people will be exploring honesty, compassion, valor, justice, sacrifice, honor, spirituality, and humility. And as they do, Keith has come up with 3 great new
cultures, I call them.
So what do you call them?
Cultures.
Cultures. That's a good way to put it. Thank you.
And their inhabitants.
Exactly. And so I just think that might be interesting, because I think you've done a great job on those. Why don't you tell people just a little bit about what they might expect, the kinds of cultures they might expect to.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it broad. So one culture is the people are authoritarian. They're very rigid, possibly class-based, and they are a magocracy. So the rulers have great and powerful magics, but the lower in the caste, the less magic they can wield. And so you'll learn about those people and why they're important in this new area. There's another group of people which are trying to think how I can say vaguely. They're close to nature. They are people who might be on the verge of extinction, and your involvement may affect which way that might go. There's a third group who are it's the newest culture to the island. They are a mixed culture originally from New Britannia, but something has gone horribly wrong in their involvement with this new area, and they're essentially cursed. And you'll learn about them. So those are the 3 main cultures, and they interact with each other in different ways, and you'll learn about them in smaller quest elements that have you deal one-on-one with cultures, and then other quest elements which have you cross back and forth between the 2 cultures.
That's funny. I like how vague you left the third of the 3 groups. It was very, very vague. You guys will enjoy. I know I'm going to enjoy.
The third one is the most fleshed out in a way.
It's funny you left it as the most vague, but yes, that I think you did use the word cursed. Yeah. So yes, that group I think is the most potentially the most interesting. But the interactions between them, I think people will enjoy quite a bit. Another thing to point out, though, just about it is, again, going back to the scale of it, that the scale, while it's not as big as the original map of Novia by any means, it's also not small. It's big enough to hold 150 new surface towns.
Player-owned towns, specifically.
Player-owned towns.
And that's NPC towns and adventure scenes and just some empty space in between here and there.
Exactly. So it's not an insubstantial amount of space to travel around. And those of you that have episode 2 access will begin to, as we begin to build maps in the upcoming new year that's coming in a matter of days, you'll have access to see those as they come into construction like we did for episode 1. So we hope you guys will enjoy those as they come online. And get a chance to give us plenty of feedback, along the way during the creation of a project, which the majority of you have been with us before on one time already before. Okay, well that brings us over to books.
Well, congratulations for getting people excited about story, because you got them excited enough to get us to the next stretch goal.
What?
Oh, all right.
So we are at 60. So everyone who is eligible for awards got the Traveler Wagon. So congratulations.
That's excellent.
That's a good one.
Next one is going to be the Dragon Sword and Polearm.
Oh yeah, Dragon Sword and Polearm. The Dragon Polearm always reminds me of the movie Dragon Slayer, where it has the coolest dragon, properly made with 2 legs and arms as its wings, and which is the dragon form that I'm personally a huge fan of. And but then the big polearmy spear for the Dragon Slayer.
So to get more items on the list, all we have to do is be give
Super
vague
vague.
secrets.
Super
about
vague.
things.
Just be super
Right,
vague
just
now.
vague.
But exciting. Vague,
Well, we can
but exciting.
Wait, who says I'm wrong, sir? But no. Anyway, I'm right on the dragon. But anyway, if somebody's trying to take argument with me, that's a fisticuffs fight. We fight at the office all the time. And if you want to start a fight at our
dueling game.
I hear you, Amber.
All right, 9 minutes.
Okay, I'll try to wrap this up in 9 minutes here for the next part, which is books. And
We have a book.
By the way, I think I've told people the story about the writing of book 1, where what a joy it was to sit down with Tracy and learn, not just for him, but frankly the skills of a real writer, in contrast to those of us who dabble in fragmented interactive conversation text. Working with real writers to create linear prose was really a joy, and I think book 1, the Sword of Midras, turned out particularly phenomenal. I'm only giving you a super brief synopsis because it relates to talking about book 2, but book 1 describes the prehistory of Shroud of the Avatar, the work that Tracy and I did before working on the story for Shroud of the Avatar, just so that we'd have the foundation parts also understood. Then we flesh that out into the book. It starts with the Cataclysm, or shortly after the Cataclysm, where the lands of Lord British and the virtues, the associate with the virtues, was destroyed by a cataclysm of astronomical proportions. The survivors were left in a harsh world. After a couple hundred years, the Obsidians rose with the rediscovery of a new magic system and began to dominate the land by force. And then the book really tells the story of this character by the name of Aaron Bennis, who discovers the Sword of Midras, an ancient artifact of the old world and of the avatars. And it enlightened him, even though he was an Obsidian who was here to dominate, it enlightened him to see absolute truth and share absolute compassion and love, and to also understand courage beyond just combat. And so he began to turn against his master, shall we say. And the book ranged from Desolace, the Hall of the Obsidians you can play in the game, over to Hilts with the Obsidian Forge down in the depths, to the city of Apollos, where one of the final battles takes place, and where it sort of ends with Aaron Bennis turning against the Obsidians and defeating their general Carpassic, while at least saving Apollos long enough for the survivors there to empty the library there, which you guys can now find if you play in the game. You can find all of that material is headed down towards Artifice. But they also talked about this place called the Confluence Chamber, and they were headed there but never got there in book 1. So now we've been working on book 2, and as you might imagine, book 2. Again, I'll be vague here, but just to give you a brief, what we now have, the exciting part is we have a completed outline, and so that at least is the end of my part of the hard work, and and now the real magic begins as that outline is turned into prose. So I will be vague because, again, some details could change between outline and final prose. But the focus of the story still remains on Aaron Bennis, who has the sword. And some of you might remember his friend Evard, And Evard is one of the leaders of the Obsidian Cabal, and a great magician. And he, Evard and Aaron are great friends. And so the fact that Aaron is basically now turning against the Obsidians is a major rift, shall we say, within their friendship. And so this book talks a lot about that, which I think is one of the best parts about this book is, what do you do when your best friend turns out to be your frenemy? But then it still carries, it deepens a lot the characters of Sienna, who you already sort of met, the woman who's a big part of the Council of Might, her sister Amanda, who the Obsidians had failed to turn into one of these mutated creatures, the Fomorians, plays a key role in this one too. General Karpasik, tries to come back, here in book 2. And there are a new pantheon of characters. I won't name them here in case their names change, but that I think you'll enjoy, as well as, when we wrote book 1, it was in concert with the story of episode 1. But since we've completed episode 1, there are new things that have gone in since the book was written. For example, there's been new creatures that have shown up in Shroud of the Avatar episode 1. And so now in book 2, we're going back and including the origin stories for some of these new mighty and great new creatures that you guys are seeing in the game. We go back and explain those through book 2. And so, yes, people are asking, yes, Tracy has been involved here also with book 2, just like with book 1. And so, while I've been involved heavily in the outlining process, my role will take second string here as it goes into final prose. But anyway, that's coming along now. By the way, it's still going to take a long time. That final prose, I expect the final prose only will take a month or 2 to write. However, then the editors will get involved, and I expect between our team, Tracy, editors, and then to get it all laid out and then to get it all published, etc. I still think it'll probably be late in 2019 before things show up in print. But we might be able to find a way to let you guys get previews of it digitally, through the process of episode 2, also like we did with episode 1. To be determined. But anyway, it's coming along is the point, and hopefully you guys will be excited about it as I am.
When does the story take place relative to the book 1 and relative to current in-game time frame?
They are back to back. It literally picks up where the first book left off, and that is about 200 years prior to the release of version 0, release 1. So 60 releases ago was approximately the year 401, I believe, 400 or 401, and so it was 200 years before that. Yeah. So and I can't remember
600 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know what year we're up to in the game. Yeah. So it's I'd have to do the math.
There you go. Keep it vague.
Yes. Plenty vague. How's that?
Another stretch goal.
I'm pretty close to 9 minutes there, Star. So
yeah, no, that was great.
What else? Any questions?
I'm looking over there too.
No, I've been kind of patient. All right.
Yeah, but putting the books in as books in the game, yes. Yeah, so I think, of course, a real printed book has a lot of text in it. I'm not sure you really want to turn our tiny little pages over and over and over again for the entire chapter as a chapterized book. But yes, we would. I mean, I think it's appropriate to put in at least the opening paragraph or 2 of each chapter in its own book. But I'm not opposed to putting in the whole text. There's nothing really wrong with it. We'll check with our publishers, make sure we don't offend them in some way. But
that would be the thing, because the novel is part of a publishing deal of the trilogy, and so we would have to
find a way to do.
We could probably publish a portion as just like when you go to Amazon and you can read a sneak peek. We probably could do that, but I doubt we could publish the entire thing as part of that publishing deal with the publisher. But we could probably publish a portion.
We'll do what we can. We'll let you know, and as it comes online, and we'll try to do readings and other things too. We'll get the whole gang back online and do some fun stuff together.
All right. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. That was very enlightening. Great stuff. I cannot wait to see Krampus. He's going to be very cool.
I forgot to also mention that just like Pumpkinhead, the Krampus can also be found not just in that one scene, but is also a random encounter that may pop up. So if you find like a little zombie naughty brat wandering around North Palatus, he can bring you into a snowy mountain road encounter that have Krampus fight.
Cool.
Once that goes live, not
Awesome.
tomorrow or today.
Yeah, on the 13th.
Yeah.
All right. Our next deep dive is going to be combat, where Travis and Chris are going to come in and talk about that. But first,
we have the prize bidding.
how many ways can we win prizes?
A million ways. No, only two.
I think there's only two.
Maybe a zillion ways.
No, two.
Two.
Wait, I get to line up. I'm gonna line it up again. Two. There's 2 ways. 2 ways.
2 ways.
Purchase or say the phrase. What's the phrase?
Horn of Plenty in the game. Say it to enter the
On
prize.
any channel. Do it on Universal if you want to be annoying.
That's what everybody's doing. You can whisper. Oh wait, I'm not on my character right now. I'm on my other personality. I'm just gonna keep standing in front of you, Chris. All right. The winner of the Rowlock property deed is Hondo Dane. The Dragon Mask, Vast Lore, Ornate Greenhouse, 4-story row home, Austin Brenner. The Barn 2-story village home goes to, I can never say your first name, so I'm just going to say Tazar. The Ornate Scythe goes to Lodair Isil. The 2018 Jack-O-Lantern set goes to Zell Gateward. The 2018 Jack-O-Lantern glowing mask goes to Drake Adis. The giant Grim Reacher statue with magic portal dungeon entrance goes to Barbarian King.
Congratulations, winner!
Bravo, bravo.
And if you want a gambler hat, you have to play Red Dead Redemption, not our game.
Don't play
Don't play Red Dead Redemption.
Don't play that game.
We don't.
No, we totally do not play that game. All right. So, reminder, today is the last day for spooky Viking and Kobold stuff. The Viking bundles and the Kobold bundles, not the Elven bundles, are expiring, contrary to what I wrote on the board.
Well, somebody
Just
colored it
pulled
in.
those. It was me. It was me. Those are expiring. So it's your last chance to get them. And apparently it's working because we are inching our way up to the next stretch goal, the Dragon Sword and the Arm. We got the Traveler Wagon. Congratulations. I'm going to leave it to you guys. You guys
It's the Travis and Chris show for the next hour.
Travis and Chris show for an hour.
Enjoy.
Well, Stars here, I just want to point out that I went back to my desk and got on Twitch and grabbed this image right there.
Yeah.
And used the
Reverse image search?
the reverse image search stuff.
Did it show up as a pineapple?
It did not show up as a pineapple. Definitely did not show up as a bag. It did show up as a fish.
Oh, okay, fish.
Yeah,
Sure.
because that's like, we always look at things like, oh, that's not fish, it's going down. Well, it's a fish if you turn it sideways. And it actually had it as a skull, and there was some like doodle type stuff.
It's totally a bundle.
No bags.
It's absolutely a bundle.
whatsoever. None.
It's a bundle. Totally a bundle. Hey, anytime anyone wants to spend all the time I spend up here on these board and draw better
It
stuff.
used to be Hutch, yeah.
That's cool.
I'll take over.
You know, anybody who wants to draw,
I'll take over whiteboard.
it's cool.
All right.
Fish.
I'm good. It's good. All right.
Rock on, guys.
I'm going to poke my
All right.
head in periodically.
It looks like a rooster
Get
with
a-
a mouthful of water.
All right, so for this half hour, we are talking about combat.
You're going to do the
Give
Spider
me-
Queen? You're going to do the Spider Queen?
Oh yeah, you want to go fight the Spider Queen?
Should we fight?
Hold on, I've got a doc I was
Do you know how to
trying
get
to pull
over
up
to
here.
the thing? You know, to press, it's the buttons to press and everything?
I don't. Let me log in so they can't see my login
Okay.
credential.
All right.
Okay,
Well,
give
then I'm
me-
not going to leave. I'm just going to
Thank you.
Give me
do this.
1 minute here
I'm
while I
going to
pull
walk
up
back and forth.
stuff that I wanted to
behind
talk about.
Here. Oh, yeah, we can answer questions while he's doing that. Did you want to answer questions?
Oh yeah, we can answer some questions.
Is it possible to make chat colors for zone and universe different, white and gray are hard to distinguish in a wall of chat text. That was a question from Elaine Dragonfire. Yes, that is a great suggestion. We should totally do that. And Fiero Steel, could we please? Oh, you scroll by. Could we please have village, town, and town-sized water platforms? Because currently we only have one size of a water platform.
There's a village, but there's not a town. Or
There's not big giant ones. And look at my. They're saying look at my water market, my fish market, for a reference. Yes, we should totally do that.
Good idea.
They want me to do the
down the
stair
stairs bit. All right, Sarah's gonna go downstairs to enter those juras.
My knees are too bad to do that.
Did it work?
We're watching now. Let's
it's
see.
a spiral staircase. Yeah.
Yeah. Did it work? Yeah. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be talking over here because that kind of ruins the illusion.
No, you're downstairs.
No, it looks. That was good,
wait,
Star.
I'm downstairs. Did it work? Can you hear me from downstairs?
Are you in your dungeon? Are you decorating?
Yeah, I'm down in the dungeon.
Is it scary down there?
Yeah, it's super scary. Chris, are you gonna answer some questions?
Yes, I am.
Or are you just gonna look at that thing?
We're waiting for you to leave so we can talk about secret stuff.
Secret stuff.
First, I want to congratulate Titan Forge.
Oh wait, actually start.
What?
Oh wait. Oh, do you need it for button pressing?
Button pressing.
Yeah, press the button for us, Star.
Which one is it?
Unity game. There you go. Oh wait.
Let's see.
That
you have it on the same screen as the thing. We'll see. Let's watch over here. No, okay, and then
you close if you close Unity.
Oh yeah.
Because that's conflicting with the game.
No, there we go.
We got it.
Oh, there you go. All right,
we're good. We're golden. I was gonna. There was a fishing contest that was a massive fishing contest. There were over 600 fish entered into it. And congratulations to the winner. And this was in Titan Forge, Titania. I don't know how to say the name. But anyways, the winners were Yolo Salive.
It says Titiana.
Is it Titiana? Yeah, that sounds semi-offensive. So I would say Titania.
Yeah, it probably is Titania.
Okay, we're going to look up and discuss how to pronounce your name.
Are they my friend? Did they unfriend me?
Unfriended you for calling them Titiana all the time.
Titania could be that.
Let's see. Down a little bit more. Here we go.
Zelia?
Yeah. I think that's Titania. I'm going to go with Titania. That's right. A little less offensive. Anyways, congratulations to Yolo, Salive, Rihanna, and Bo for the fish. And they had 4.2 meter and 4.1 meters. Had some big fish come in for that. Some sharks. Let's see. Biggest amberjack was by Swish, caught it. Some marlins, sunfish, pikes, lots of stuff caught. But Yolo Salive won with the 4.2 meter tiger shark. And we are forming a group here. So this release, again, was a super short release. We did do a bunch of stuff. Some of the stuff most players probably didn't notice, but there were a few players who noticed noticed it and were. This was actually the #1 complaint of a few people. It's something we fixed this release, which is how we control timing of things and how stuff gets passed around. And so where this was a problem was whoever made the scene would usually be dead on in terms of timing sync with the server. But for players who came in after that, it was always problematic and it was always longer. It was always off by a significant amount. So this release, we actually went and redid how a lot of that stuff gets handled and removed the first person in as being kind of the time sync for things. We redid. So the big place where people were noticing this and that made it need to get fixed was there's some fights that had some timing elements to it, like fighting a boss troll or a dragon or something like that, where the timing on it was critical. And being anyone other than the first, you were at a huge disadvantage. So this release, we actually redid a lot of that.
Oh my god.
So that's the good news is now, and I've had several players, including some of the biggest critics like Mac and some others, who are really picky about that stuff, tell me that they can't tell if they're the master in a scene or not, and that it's much, much better. So anyways, that was the good news. The bad news was it got rushed in because it was a short release. And normally when we send packets around, we send them in a packed binary format that is really efficient for us. But because this went in last minute and got working last minute, it was actually left in what we call a JSON blob, which is really a text format that has to get parsed both on the client and on the server and sent over, and it does lots of memory alex that causes a problem. So the place where that was showing up is showing up in big fights like the one we're probably about to do, because there's a lot of messages being sent for this thing. And the number one performance problem in this type fight right now is this JSON parsing and packet sending stuff that got crammed at the last minute. So it's really good in terms of, yay, we're on the right track. But for R60, it was still in the placeholder JSON text blob that has to get parsed all around form. But for R61, this is already done, and I just tested it this morning. It fixes all the problems. For R61, it's a binary format, so it goes much quicker for players. Reduces the memory alex as well.
Nice. Yeah, I've noticed the vast improvement. Where am I going?
Spectral Peaks.
Spectral Peaks.
So for this release, again, it was a short release. One of the things I've been trying to do at least once a release is go and take an old scene that is underutilized and revamp it, take a pass on it to improve the art and improve the performance, but also improve the content in there to be something that more high-level people can handle. So that's what this one was I went to a scene called Spectral Peaks. It had been around forever, got very little playtime. And it was actually a clone of some other scenes. So there are a few other scenes that were nearly identical to this. But it needed a lot of love. And I went and gave it a lot of love in terms of performance stuff to get the performance up to be good. And then also changed some of the design. It was kind of an interesting scene when it was made because there were like 3 factions of critters and humans and kobolds and satyrs that were all constantly walking towards each other's areas and fighting in them. But that made for some bad performance, and it also made it so there was never enough stuff to kill. Plus, it was all low-tier stuff and just was not a very rewarding scene for people.
Apologies, I take all the screenshots for the store, so I have quite a lot of stuff on me.
A lot of stuff.
Got a lot of stuff, so I buffed my carrying capacity.
But anyways, for this release, we went and I took this scene, did all the cleanup stuff, did some polish, some visual polish, and then refactored like all the spawns in it so that they're all things players can kill. And I always try to, when I'm doing these new high-level scenes, I try to aim for a scene that if players are willing to move around and do everything just right, rather than stand in one place and wait for things to respawn, if you actually are willing to run around, you can reach experience attenuation level, which is something that the high level players are always looking for.
Should probably be ready for actual playing the game.
What I've heard from players, of course, is that they can, and some people are doing it, but it also is it's a tough scene in terms of it's much more challenging. Some of the creatures have this, especially been getting complaints on the archers, and the satyr archers are all tier 10 or tier 12, and apparently pack quite a punch. But anyways, one of the things I did want to throw in this scene was something that I cooked up, that as I continue to add new tricks to our bags of tricks for boss fight stuff, I wanted to notice you had a lot of decks there. It's another one I should mention. I wanted to make sure that we had a fight that was here that had challenge, it had some mechanic, and it wasn't just let's go Zerg fight. This one actually can be Zerged, it's just easier if you don't Zerg it. But the mechanic for this was one that I talked about, I think, last stream, which was it's a way I can add abilities or features to something based on how many things are around it. So in this one, it is a mama spider and all of her babies around it. And for this fight, some of the other ones, like the pumpkin head fight, we did the the more of the pumpkins you destroy, the weaker it makes them. Well, for this fight, the mama spider is the more you're dead.
And I haven't noticed them.
The more baby spiders you kill, the tougher the mama gets. So the fight is almost unwinnable.
Where'd you put Knock?
It's off one of the hallways.
If only.
Well, just cheat.
Alright.
So this spider is, the idea is that you want to keep all the children alive, because if you kill the children, then she will enrage.
Oh.
Oh, you're so dead.
It's because I'm super encumbered. There we go. And I'm dead again. Alright, we're gonna go over here.
Just God mode over there.
Alright.
But anyway, so the idea for this one was that it's a mama spider and then 20 of her babies.
Break all my gear.
Who you can fix. Who you don't want to kill the babies. You can kill the babies. You can just, if you want to, try and zerg them all, but the mama spider gets really tough. I'm not sure actually which way players are doing it. I've seen it done both ways, but the better idea is to let the babies live and then distract them by kiting or pulling them through slow fields or whatever else while you fight the mama. And the more babies you kill, the meaner the mama gets, the faster the mama gets, the more resistant the mama gets, all sorts of stuff. And she'll easily hit for over 1,000 points of damage if you kill all the babies. So you can fight her. You can just try and zerg, but it gets really hard.
God damn it. Excuse me. Radiant shield.
Yeah. Right. It gets kicked off Twitch, man.
Alright, now we're not just Leroying in. I can actually buff, and we can go in as a party.
But anyways, I'm actually fairly happy with this one. It didn't get killed for a while right after we had the release, but unfortunately that was due more to bugs and the disconnect problems that we were having. Not disconnects, but desyncs, where things would stop responding, but they'd still be killing you. So we got those dealt with. And then players have found their different ways, and I think I already called them out, but there I see Anthrax is with you there. And really, I should also, if I'm going to call it Anthrax, I should point out that everything he knows he learned from Donis, who's probably somewhere standing around you.
Oh man, you're gonna start something, huh?
Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't see her around there, but...
Oh, did she not make it? Oh, it looks like there's people not in our party who are also here. Okay. Alright, now we can actually do this.
Let's see if they'll cooperate. So the baby spiders you see in the room are not weak spiders. They're like, if you're not an expert player, you probably wouldn't be able to handle one single baby spider by itself. And there's 20 of them in there that move around. But the mama spider is currently the toughest thing in the game. Usually my rule is every release I try to put something a little tougher than whatever was in last release, so you can look forward to what's coming in the next release. But again, I think she's in the 30,000 hit point range, can hit for like 1,000 points of damage. But again, there's strategies.
As you just saw, it hurts.
And she does actually, when we first got the bugs fixed, she was at a point where she could be soloed. At least one or two really skilled players were able to do it. And they were doing it by running around, casting light in front of them, or not light, ice fields in front of them, pulling the baby spiders through that while they nuked mama spider in the middle. And basically just ran circles around with the babies chasing, because the babies are faster than the mama if you keep her alive. But I actually made one or two little tweaks. I think I upped her health regen by about 100 points a second, which made it to the point where you couldn't do it. Oh, I don't see many babies out there. You guys just gonna try and zerg tank? Oh, there's a couple babies. So this will look a little bit chaotic here. Also, as I mentioned, the big thing that we introduced this release that fixed the mismatched timing between players. That fix is also the thing that ended up causing performance problems in this fight in particular. So this has been a good fight in a lot of ways. Not only is it an exciting fight.
Wait, are people in here killing the babies just to troll us?
Maybe they think they're helping.
Don't kill the babies. Kill the babies.
And yeah, that you just saw, Mama Spider just took out Fopu with 800 hit points in heavy. heavy gear.
This is my assigned job, this ice field. Cause
Have you guys practiced this?
I haven't. This is my first time fighting this.
What?
I don't know. I'm just supposed to cast ice field. I can handle that.
Except you're gonna get caught by the spiders, get rooted, and die.
Like that.
Like that. That was the other thing that is intentional about this is the idea is that the optimal way to beat her is to keep the baby spiders alive, keep them going around, but they're spiders, and if you get rooted, then you're in for trouble. They've got extremely vicious poison as well, so if they land a poison on you, you pretty much have to heal it or you're going to be in serious trouble.
Oh, should I be carrying cure poison? Fighting giant spiders? I probably should.
Uh-oh, Marguerite's got aggro.
It's not good, she's the healer. Healer. I'm super encumbered with all my Christmas trees. Couches. Probably got 40 couches on me.
Alright, looks like they're starting to get it together here and keep the babies organized.
I'm gonna chug some potions.
It's good to see Crowquill's horse is out there helping them with things.
Nice. Thank you, Crowquill, for bringing the horse.
But again, the frame rate actually runs pretty well in this scene, but it is the biggest draw right now is the crazy new packet that we're sending, where it's sending lots of packets and they're all in non-binary
I killed a few
format.
babies before you arrived. That causes, but yes, that buffs the boss.
Bad faux poo. And again, this is one of those things I didn't go into details on what the strategy would be for
you
beating
kind
her.
of just watched people in ghost mode die a lot.
Yeah, I watch people in ghost mode, and then to watch them like, oh, now they're pulling the spiders. And this is how you would do some boss fights, is you go and you clean up all the little stuff around, then you go and you kill the boss. But again, this was me trying to introduce a new thing. So the reason we needed to kick Star out of here was right now our plan, Travis and I each came up with the same devious plan that we're going to work over the Christmas break to each make a new challenging, interesting scene. I'm going to be working on one that will be kind of the sequel to the Rise, that'll actually have some PvP areas and some PvE areas and be mixed and go back and forth between the two. Oh, you're so going to die.
I need to be blinking.
So the good thing is what you're seeing here is proof that even the toughest players in the game, if they try and Zerg this fight, they're gonna get owned a bunch of times.
Difficult saying we won't do it, but they're enjoying watching us die.
Yeah, you really have to be organized with this. It looks like there's a lot of baby spiders back. At least you can really see them with this stuff on. So another exciting thing that's coming to combat is some massive optimizations were just made to a couple of things. The biggest one being the AI system that should allow us to greatly increase the number of AIs in a scene, which is important for the new scenes that I'll be creating, or I'm going to be creating over the break, and I'm sure Travis too, because that's one of the things I hate is trying to keep like the limit of number of spawns in a scene to 200 can be kind of limiting. But now that number should go much higher. Can't say exactly what for sure, but it'll be much higher than that. So I think we probably cut the time on the AI thinking down to probably a quarter what it was before.
Stop killing the babies.
Bad person.
We weren't joking. Actually, don't do that. Yeah, I was thinking. Oh, there she is. It's kind of hard to miss.
So anyways, this is exactly as the fight was intended if you aren't organized about things. I have seen people kill it. There's a group of people that get together and they've killed it. I think she's been killed. It took a while for the first death, and then after that, they were kind of slow. But then I saw a group of people, Sarah and some other people got together and killed her like 20 times in a night.
Yeah, I've never fought this. It's fun. It's hard.
Yeah, there's a lot of chaos going on. If you have it organized, one guy can keep all the babies together, and then one person can fight the spider, or the rest of the group can fight the spider.
Oh, is that what I should be doing?
That's what people should be doing.
I think actually
and then
that's what I'm supposed to be doing, because
they just assumed you would know what you were supposed to be doing.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm water spec. Oh, ice field. I think that's what I should be doing.
Well, but the thing is, you got to have the one person get in there and get the aggro of the baby, the little babies first,
Well,
and
now
then
we're
you keep
doing
the
AoE.
aggro with constant ice fields, which ice fields generate enough aggro so you can keep all the babies on you.
Well, we also have people here not in the party who are AoEing the babies, which is going to make this not work.
Well, you might be able to. You've got enough people here. You might be able to just zerg Mama Spider and.
I don't know.
You can see how quick she's moving around now. That is one of the things that, as more babies die, she gets faster and faster. When you actually start the fight, a normal player runs at 6.5 or 5.5. But the baby spiders move at about 5, so they're slower than a normal person without any buffs.
Second?
Yeah, that's supposed to be meters per second. So the baby spiders move slower than a person without any buffs at all on. The mama spider, when all the babies are present, moves at about 2, so she moves at about half.
They're just AoEing all the babies. I think we're being trolled because of what's happening. Yeah,
Where's
Meteor Storm the babies. Mama's at full health. Because someone's in here AoEing all the baby spiders.
Moving a little bit. They got a couple thousand off. But again, this is one of the things that we're actually looking for. This is working exactly as planned, which is if you just come in and try to Leroy Jenkins the fight, you're in for trouble.
That's my first strategy for everything.
And this is the one strategy that they might have a chance. They have one person who's kiting it but staying ahead of it so she can't land an attack. And then the other guy's trying to beat on it from behind. Look, they got her down to 23.
Yeah, we might do this. I got festering for Regan. I'm sure someone else has festering too. What are they?
For the new players out there, festering is to reduce the heal rate of the creature.
Or other player.
Yeah, or other player. For PvP.
So actually what's it called? The move speed poison might be better for her.
Let's see. Yep, she's down to almost half health now.
All right.
You guys might kill her. You got 3 minutes left to kill her.
Just gonna zerg it. Alright, we got some babies back now. I'm bad at playing and talking. That'd be an awful Twitch stream.
Well, the good news is
we're gonna get this. By sheer numbers, it's gonna happen.
5,200. So anyways, that's one of those things that's been kind of an ongoing joke, has been that I'll make a boss fight and I'll be like, players will never kill this. I'll have to weaken it before they'll kill it. And then about 7 minutes later, somebody's killed it.
Yay!
Nicely done.
What kind of loot does it have?
So that's the thing. I have to figure out what's going on. It has loot. I'm actually going to, for those who have been killing it, I'm actually going to send out some artifacts because it looks like it's not dropping, although everything I look at says it should be. But I've seen 52 kills or something like that of it total.
Should have set it to roll. Should have set it to roll loot.
They didn't get anything. So right now, the only thing she's dropping is basically some venom and spider sacks. There are several artifacts that come off her. That's one of the other things I'm doing with boss mobs is I'm designing the artifacts. Like they have unique drops that'll come with them. And I think people actually, I had kept it a secret, but I wore them to a party and I think people saw them. So the actual item she drops is a staff, a spider leg staff, and a spider silk belt.
Oh, really? What's
that
the
have
stats
some,
on that?
go look on the web. They've got the screenshots of it. But there's actually a third item that can be crafted from those two that I won't go into. I don't think I wore that to the party. I don't remember. Yeah. If you get both the items, they can be crafted into a third item. We'll see who does it first.
What is the That's my favorite emote in the game, by the way. It took me months to get 5 wins. I got my 5 wins. I had to be a bad person to get it. I had to hide at this button, the middle of the map.
Hide and hang out.
Yeah.
All right, well done. You guys killed it exactly in 30 minutes. So anyways, the thing players can look forward to coming up is there's going to be a couple more scenes that Travis and I are each going to try to build our own scenes.
Sorry, I was playing and I'm bad at talking.
And Travis obviously makes tons of maps. The last big map I made was The Rise and Started the Fall, which Travis finished out and made amazing. So you can look forward to my map having interesting play mechanics, hopefully some interesting fight stuff, and looking like crap. And you can look forward to Travis' map being all of mine but looking good. Speaking of looking like crap.
What's with guys playing girls asking for a friend? Do you really want to know? I just don't like the male characters, and if I'm gonna... I don't know, I can answer that.
What's with guys playing girls asking for a friend?
It's a third-person game. If you're gonna... Never mind.
Sometimes I like to play as a dude, just because the outfits look different, the faces look different. Called role-playing, dude!
I have a dude character too, but I like this one better.
Speaking of, if you want to be in the next segment, are we doing your ballroom? Travis?
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to be in the next... If you want to be in the next segment, whisper Jarvis Periwinkle, and I'll summon you. I mean, he will summon you. Jarvis Periwinkle. Alright, we have some prize winners.
Great outfits, by the way, for everyone who was dressed for that last segment.
What were they dressed as? I didn't see.
They had the Chaos, they had the Firestar armor on. So.
What did he say?
We should not.
But Chris is still winning, by the way, in November. But it's more important that we collect money for Men's Health, not that I'm losing. That's not what's important. It's important that we're collecting money for Men's Health. And for a second there, I was winning, but then Richard gave you $100. Not that it's rigged or anything, but whatever. But it's more important that we collected money for Men's Health.
Yes. Just to be clear, my mustache is better.
I did.
Mine's the best.
If you have no other reason than next week, I hit a milestone. I turned 50.
Oh.
Grats.
Happy birthday.
So for all those people who are saying that I look old, it's because I'm old. But you can go give me an early birthday present and do something good for the world by donating to my Movember thing. And it's totally not an ego thing, so I can beat Star at it.
I was going to shave him, but that's totally cheating because I've gone the whole month with I can't just do it at the end. Because you guys went through the going to the grocery store with a 13-year-old's lip, what do you call it? Lip fuzz?
Yeah, peach fuzz.
Yeah.
Well, I just left mine totally shaggy until Thanksgiving, and then I shaved off all of it so I'd look hideous for a while. That was the deal with the wife, was she said I look better when I just have a goatee or something. So she made me keep just a goatee that was kind of 13-year-old goatee.
Alright, let's do the prizing! Rolot property deed goes to Contessa. Dragon Mask goes to Oran. The ornate greenhouse 4-story row home goes to Infernal. The barn 2-story village home goes to Lyra Starflare. Ornate scythe goes to Jamesius. 2018 Jack-o'-lantern set goes to Xenophin. The 2018 Jack-o'-lantern glowing mask goes to Ryan Kyle. Grim Reaper statue with magic portal dungeon entrance goes to Oakenhammer. That's the sound of thunder.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Right. You need to go back to your desk, though.
I do.
All right, so now we are officially supposed to be talking about player-made dungeons. So do you have one you want to show off real quick and get things started?
I do. We have to wait a moment now.
What are we waiting for?
All right, so I just testing. A lot of times, we'll do it in the editor, and that doesn't necessarily mean it works in live. So
all right, guess we'll find out.
I scooted myself some rooms that you guys don't have access to yet, but you will very soon. either on the store, a lot of this, or the people who bought the pre-built dungeons will get these as blueprints and can build them that way. And then there's also some rooms you can't get anywhere because they're coming. So it's kind of a preview. All right, so
that is also something I want to point out with one of the goals I wrote down, like my plan for my dungeon that I'm going to be building. And one of my things I'm keeping in mind the whole time I'm building it is make sure when I'm building rooms, think about them as how will this fit into a player-made dungeon. So hoping to get half dozen or a dozen rooms, new dungeon rooms out of that scene.
a lot of people like to build like spooky horror dungeons. Mine is just like I like the palace. It's my ballroom. All right, here's my man Jarvis Periwinkle.
Nice. And also, I think we kind of skipped over the whole thing. We're just assuming everybody knows everything and has played forever. So for new players in the game, one thing that's coming with episode 2, hopefully you've seen kind of the basic features. One of the things we're focusing on for episode 2 is more player content that the players can create. More sandbox elements, and player-made dungeons are actually one of those things that we're kind of slow rolling out early. It's a little buggy right now, but lots of people having fun with it, and I'll show off some dungeons players have made that are crazy. But the player-made dungeons, the idea is that you can craft a dungeon. You don't have to buy anything for it. You can craft a dungeon entrance. You can craft dungeon pieces, and just build a dungeon. And this basically everything's broken up into rooms and hallways, and so basically just like we build dungeons, where you take the pieces and you can put them together and build out cool except they're kind of similar to a.
I always forget, and I've seen the recaps of our live streams, that when the keyboard is on the mic, it sounds like thundering. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Sounds like a stampede of horses.
It could be worse. Could have been a mechanical keyboard.
So I was going to have like a whole underground masquerade ball going on last night, but I decided to go home instead. Because in our game we have waltz lead and waltz follow, and I think Arca helped me 96 beats per minute if you change all your waltz ABCs, and there was going to be a band, and because I think there's like distinctly 2 types of dungeon owners, and one is a spooky, full of spiders and monsters and blood fountains and blood stains and skeletons, and the other people are like, I want fancy rooms. So this is a room that I still haven't. At first I had koi fish in there, but there's a bug with this. The koi fish that never despawned.
They were awesome.
They were cool.
They just floated around and get koi floating in the middle of your room.
It was like some hitchhikers. So this is a room you can get the Christmas stuff I put down on the rugs, but it comes with all these plants and stuff. It's a 3-connection skylight room.
Yeah, and so for those who don't know, the dungeons right now, we're continuing to build out the feature set as we go along. Can you get out of there?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a ladder. We're continuing to build out the feature set. The current thing that's in there right now is you can craft pieces, you can find pieces. That's one of the things we're adding is unique loot drops to various mobs and critters and boss stuff. Is we're adding dungeon blueprints that allow you to craft one copy of the dungeon. So you can basically build out this place, and again, people are using it. Some are using it as a replacement for their basement, rather than just having the fixed basement that looks like everybody else's. You can have these cool basements that you put together yourself. Some are a couple of the ones I'll show are basically mazes where people have built crazy mazes that I had to cheat to get out of them because I've
gotten lost. I've gotten lost in some.
And they're massive already. And again, it's really cool to see that it's working as well as it is.
A lot of granite.
Yeah, there's a few bugs in there. We are aware of the issues. We are working on fixing them, but right now there's a few that I can't explain that I've seen where they get offset weird that we need to figure out what that one is.
We're looking at that today, but we'll figure it out.
And there's another one where someone was saying the spider room, this is another one. I haven't even tried to reproduce this one, but the spider room keeps rotating back to its base configuration, which can really break things if you're trying to build off of that. And this room in particular, isn't this one that came with one of the dungeon sets?
This did come with the pre-built dungeon. I think either the 100 or the 125.
And these have been broken out into the blueprints that we'll be sending out if I forget when Kayak is going to be delivering. Oh, look, you actually got deco surfaces. That's another one of the things that is a bug, basically not finished. in a number of the pieces we have right now is they have deco surfaces, but
Yeah,
not
none
everywhere.
of this comes with the room. This comes with the room. This center thing and the tree comes with. And then I like to call this my underground evil villain lair. Love this room. I just kind of hang out here now. Like I had the houses, but now I just like the dungeon is like my underground palace. All right, this is my butler Jarvis Periwinkle. I think there's a tea for everyone. Okay, there's enough. But I just kind of sit in here and play music and mess with ABCs, and people pop in and say hi. Or
very nice. So right now you can do the crafting of all the pieces. You can place them. You can put them together. There's still a few bugs in it. There's some missing deco surfaces on like some walls and ceiling and some things. A couple of nasty bugs, which is why we're really saying this is very much an alpha feature that we're rolling out, because it's not the type of thing, it's not all going to happen when we release. The next thing that's going to be coming along will be a switch between deco and play mode. And when you go in play mode, the big thing that has to happen with that part's fairly trivial. The more challenging part that actually is already done and tested, we just have it as a dev command right now, is the building out of the entire nav mesh of what you've done. So when you go in play mode, it'll actually build that out. So and when I say nav mesh, that's what the computer uses to figure out where pets is the main thing can travel. So it'll build that out on the fly, so your pets can actually go around. And then the next step after that we'll see when it happens. I'm still dreaming of R62, but it's actually getting the encounter room stuff going. So the encounter room will show up. R60 and R61 have obviously been crazy short and fast releases due to the holiday and lots of outages. So hopefully R62 will get progress on the encounter rooms.
Wait, what are we playing here? Is it Handel? I don't recognize it.
And she's got a flute on her hand.
Yeah, that's a bug on Justin.
Okay.
Justin.
Is that whatever's in her hand?
It's whatever instrument you have equipped. Like, what do I got? I got a harp.
Ah.
So if you sit down at any seated thing, it'll bring out your instruments. That's a bug. It's reported. It's in there. We'll fix it.
All right. Well.
Oh, one more room.
I've got a bunch of dungeons I want to show off here today. So
one more room that nobody has. Show that. You called it what do you call it? The good place to have a. But it's the indoor pool room. If you want to, and this is all player deco, but if you want an underground pool in your dungeon, we're making this one too.
Can I fish in there?
Presently you can, and I want to turn that off, and everyone's telling me not to, because it's so clean and chlorinated, and then everybody's throwing bloodworms and sardines and. Alright, you got a list of dungeons you want to go to? Yeah, I just like to come poolside.
Let me pull up. I got to pull up a document so I can cut out some of these codes. So I asked for dungeons. I was expecting to get maybe 5 or 10. I got far more than that, and many of them were crazy. I could have wandered around some of them for half an hour and not seen them all. So obviously lots of players are getting excited about this stuff. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, we've had a couple pool parties down in the test pool dungeon.
Give me 1 second here. I'm going to have to do some teleporting around. So nobody's in your party, so they won't be following me around here.
If you sub to the game now, do you get the stretch goal to start going on now, or do you start in the next stretch goal? If you do it now, then it would be this.
Yep.
These goals. Yes, you get all of them.
Do it now. Okay. Or go buy $5 more in the store, and you'll get all the rewards that are up there. You can take advantage of everyone else's hard work and dedication. And also don't forget to go donate to my Movember thing. I'm sure, I haven't checked yet, but I'm sure people are keeping me way ahead of Star because they like me a lot better than Star.
They're both my bosses. I'm not going to chime in either way.
I've got 2 bosses. So anyways, let's get on. First one I'm going to go to is, I think I referred to him as the Dungeon Master Overlord guy. It's really, this is Tazar again. I don't even bother with his other name.
Is that Tazar?
Tazar. But he actually, in addition to having like a castle lot and a bunch of other lots,
He might have a dungeon problem.
He's the one who is trying to break the dungeons for me. So he's reporting lots of stuff.
We love your
for
enthusiasm,
me.
but he may have a dungeon problem.
I think I forget how many he has, but his dungeon is at something like 1,300.
I got tired
points
running through it and started GM flying through it, and I got tired.
I'm gonna have to GM fly through some of it because it is absolutely massive. All right, give me 1 second. I think I've got the teleport logs to just outside the dungeon. Of teleport there, which means I'm going to their player-owned town and loading their player-owned town, and then I'll go into the dungeon.
We got 2 loading screens. But there's a lot more dungeon rooms in the work, other than what you just saw there. They're also still going through the pipeline. Should I spoil them, or should I?
What are you gonna spoil?
The dungeon rooms that are in the works.
No, go ahead, tell people.
I was supposed to build another foyer. So akin to if you guys have played the Crawl, the minecart, making several entrants, and you gotta hop on the minecart and ride to it.
Nice.
Dungeon foyer. We can't do it as a room because if you put it in a room with the moving minecart, and then you rotate the room, bad
Oh yeah, I forgot about the rotation part.
Oh, so this is the same foyer that I have, but decorated completely different.
Yeah, and it feels totally different. So, oh look,
it's the Lancer
people just happy
gals.
to be here. Again, the dungeon features very much alpha type stuff. This is really intended to be an episode 2 feature as we expand the player's ability to do sandbox stuff. So this is one of the bugs that he's already reported to me that he says he wants me to not fix because it lets him get an overview of his dungeon and see other parts of his dungeon.
We're fixing that. Yeah.
But again, that's one of the things when I was looking at what dungeons show. Some people have done amazing jobs decoing. You can tell some people are just like, I'm just building out the dungeon. They're not doing any deco stuff. They're really just putting together pieces and playing the Lego game.
Yeah.
I like
to see the decoed ones. But I do appreciate the time and the layout skills of some of these crazy mazes.
So I'm going to go through it 2x. We've already got some of the little... Right now they're just for play, but they will be real traps coming up.
Yeah, I've seen spikes, traps, and stuff. This is a cool room. I was happy to see you added this to the...
Yeah,
do you want to... I think I have a torch if you want to equip a torch.
A torch? You don't use a light spell?
Nah.
1 second.
Let's see if he messes up my PvP. Okay, Dash, you can replace Dash. I'm gonna replace my smelling salts or like... I'll look for it in a duel and it won't be there and then I'll be dead. Oh, this room's cool.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's got the lightsabers.
Yeah. I haven't seen this room. It wasn't there.
So not only was his dungeon massive.
This is like a nightclub. Yeah, he's got
great deco stuff going on too.
Yeah, I like this. Right.
And this is hardly even recognizable. But for those who have played Ravensmoor, one of the first dungeons we had in the game, this is actually the final boss room. It's got it decoed out so well that you can hardly tell. Yeah, so normally like the boss would be up here, but he's got this instead. It's set as a disco dance room thing.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Good job.
Very cool. And again, I got a lot of dungeons to show here. So this is, I could run...
No, this is live. This is not QA.
Oops, didn't put door there. And you can see some of these are placeholders for connections that he can add to later. But anyways, yeah, I could run for like an hour in this dungeon. I have no idea how much time they've spent building this thing out, but it's absolutely massive.
This is a good room. Good looking room, Chris.
And when I mentioned Travis and I are each building a dungeon, and Travis's will be just like mine, only look good. This is a room from one of Travis's construction.
But then we'll switch, and I'll make yours pretty, and you'll make my boss fight work, right?
Sounds good.
Right.
It's a deal. All right, so I've been running around this for a while here, but I'm going to go ahead and cheat. so you can kind of get an idea of the scale of things that can be done. I'm gonna. You don't have.
And what?
No, hold on.
I have different hotkeys.
Okay, I was
than
gonna
you.
go back to. Even though it looks horrible, I was gonna do night vision so you can see all this stuff in the.
I never use night vision. Oh, I
I'm
replaced
screwing
my
up everything.
resistance. Oh.
I never use night vision either, but it helps for the dungeon so you can see the size and scale
Yeah, it's insane.
of this stuff.
And the camera's calling it out, so you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's large.
Yeah, are you getting an idea now of how massive? So they haven't got everything decoed, but you can kind of see when we said that they're pushing the limits on like trying to break stuff for us, and I mean that in a good way. It is crazy. And right here's the bug we were talking about. Actually, it looks like they had it happen to them too.
Yep.
Which is there's a situation it can get into where
that stair piece.
yeah, that
I'm not
stair
sure what's
piece
going
will
on.
pop up. I think it's actually connecting that piece over there, but not, it's putting it at the level. But anyways, we're looking at that one. But you can see that screwed up their stairs are actually going to make the connection between those things, between those 2 points. But oh look, they got a Christmas room in here. But again, just massive. And again, thanks so much to them for helping push the limits on this stuff and being very clear about reporting bugs and telling us all about these things. And for those who didn't know, this is a room. It looks like they haven't got around decoing this room. I think they've got a couple of these in here. This is from Hilt, I think.
As much as we complain about all our streamers using night vision and our game looking green, we're doing it.
Well, they kind of had to cheat.
Put a torch on.
I need to cancel my night vision now. I don't need it here.
Okay. Oh,
but again, when you get into areas also that are when I'm flying around outside, I don't have a choice.
Gotcha.
My light spell doesn't follow me up. But anyway, so that was dungeon number 1. I'm not going to say that was the best one, but that was a good one. It's hard to say which one's the best. They're all kind of different, better in different ways. This was absolutely the largest dungeon, and I bet he hasn't even used all of his points yet because they haven't got enough granite to build everything.
It's large.
But it gives you an idea of what's possible in the future when you look at the scale of that and what you could actually build. I told people that's one of the things we're shooting for is I want you to be able to build a dungeon as big as the Rise and as cool as the Rise or the Fall or Kroll or one of those things. So already proving out some of the technology and getting cool.
And functionality is on the radar. We know you all guys want to make your own adventures and puzzles and quests and tell your own story. Like we're not unaware of that. We're totally aware of that.
Yep.
And working on all those systems still.
So this one is Wolfdom, which reminds me I need to give a. I'm going to be on Wake Up with New Britannia tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's early.
Which is at 6 a.m. Texas time. I know everybody's up at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm actually an early person, so they like having me on the show.
He's an Aussie, so I get that, but I don't know how Justin wakes up at. It's early.
At least the last time, I don't know if she does it every time, but the last time she was playing through, as they say.
Just stayed up?
Just stayed up.
That's the only way I could do it.
So.
I like the brown marble foyer. Seems to be a favorite.
Yeah, but this one, it's both large and he's got some interesting deco stuff.
This is an evil underground lair, if ever I've seen one.
But he's doing good, and he's got lots.
What do the notes say? Oh, it's a recipe.
Yeah, he's got recipes up there. Neat. Tabletop catapult, whose hand? Eclipse made. No, this is good. And using player parts as decos.
She's got both your hands. Who skulls it? Why has it got your stuff, Clipsy?
Al Nightwolf. But anyways, again, good start for the decos. Let me do mine.
Is that a gap on the floor, or is that a rug?
Yeah, no, that's a rug here.
Okay. Oh, it's a paper.
There's a couple of them, yeah. It's the black papers.
The new papers. I like those sleep sitting papers. That looks nice, actually. I like that.
If I can find some. He had some cool, they aren't all decorated, but he had a great theme for his dungeon. We'll look at Artemis's dungeon, too. He had some great themes to his stuff.
Oh, that tells a little story, yeah.
Yeah, and he's got a bunch of different. I remember I should have written down the exact directions.
I like that that guy almost made it past the spike traps, but not twice. The skeleton back there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like
I'm gonna have
the
to-
I like the tiki torches in here. That's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting to see these scenes that everybody knows really well, or many people know well, and to see when you give them to players, what do they do to them? And they feel very different when they
Yeah.
go and do these weirdo lighting things.
Yeah, this looks like some secret cabal meeting place. Like, oh, what's that movie? Yeah, that guy almost made it past the spikes.
Except I think the spikes stuck up. I hadn't seen that before.
Oh yeah, they do. They come out. Oh, you mean they're stuck in
Yeah, I
upwards
mean they
position?
were stuck there.
You are moving rather fast. Oh, are you? He's
I'm gonna have to cheat in a
You're
second.
a left wall hugger. Oh, now he's
I
going
was
right.
trying to. That's where we were. Maybe it's the other way.
Yeah, you can fly. I don't think.
Yeah, I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna cheat. There were a couple of rooms in here that were cool.
So some of these rooms, if you get a room and it does not have deco surfaces, that is because it is intended to be an encounter room in the future. And we're trying to keep the two separate so people can't trap monsters and other players and bug out the combat.
Yeah. And there will be some that are missing some in some locations, but that is because until about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I was the only one who knew how to do a lot of the dungeon stuff. Oh, looky there. I was the only one who knew how to do a lot of the dungeon stuff, but I've now educated Travis on it, so he's doing it 10 times better than me.
I can kick it a little further down the path. They're functional. A lot can go wrong, so there's just a lot of hookups. But it's been fun.
Little themes.
I think you added a lot more rooms in there.
Yeah, there's a ton of rooms in here. But anyways, I want to get to a number of them here. And this is a breakaway wall.
Could there be two different blueprints for the same room, deco versus encounter? I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing we had talked about is making it so it will work as an encounter room if you don't have any decos put down. But if you put decos down at that, it won't spawn anymore. All right, well, I'm going to go to the next dungeon. There's a ton of amazing things I could keep finding in here. He's got so many different little rooms laid out and stuff planned. And yeah, as Travis was saying, like a lot of the stuff you can tell, like he's telling a story with this stuff, and we just need to give him a few more tools so he can really finish that story. And which is what episode 2 is all about, honestly.
We'll talk to these guys. That was Tazar's last time. This is Woofdom, and maybe they'll give you like a slowed down tour.
And there were a bunch of great dungeons here that I'm not going to get to show. Catherine Rose had a great dungeon. My Star had a great dungeon. I'm going to jump over to Artemis's dungeon because we're running out of time. Because as always, we have 20 hours of content and 30 minutes to fit it in.
Good problem to have.
They wouldn't want to hear us talk for 20 hours.
Oh yeah, yeah, we'll make it an option if we do that. It won't be too different. They're talking about the encounter versus deco. That you could just flag it one or the other.
Yeah, and for those who haven't heard about that stuff before, that is, you'll be able to have ways you can put encounters into it. They will give rewards. They will give experience. Oh, look, there's the owner there.
Artemis.
They will give stuff, and you will be able to level up those encounters, so you can increase the difficulty of them.
Yeah.
And just like you build the rooms through a lot of mining of granite or other things and farming for blueprints, you'll be able to level them up in similar ways. That you'll be like to level up a lich room, you'll be killing a lot of liches and collecting a lot of lich skulls.
Well, he kind of also went with the spooky underground lair.
And also calling out Artemis because he has been one of those guys who has helped us a million different ways. I'm sure he's already got an ONBE. If he doesn't have one, he's deserved one long ago. But he's been basically Mr. Dungeon and tried to help every way he can, whether through building stuff out. Oh, that bug is still in here? I swore I fixed that.
But did it make it to live, though? It might
yeah, that's true. It's probably not. It's probably sitting on our QA server right now.
Let's see his dungeon and not night vision.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Yeah, much better. So this is the epitaph room?
Yeah, that sounds right. As you can see, oh look, that's amazing. You can fit like that giant deco in there.
I like some of these big rooms for the big pot statues.
Oops, I forgot to do my cheat here. Oh, but Artemis has helped us in a ton of different ways, and also been one of those guys who's constantly nudged us on what more can we do for dungeon creation? What more can we do for? Can I help build dungeons for you guys? Get them in game. He's kind of in charge of the Dungeoneering Society. Oh look, he's got like this is kind of set up as a little themed prison room.
Cool. Thank you, Jarvis.
My lady, I bring you.
You may have the rest of the day off.
List.
But again, I could go on for half an hour on these dungeons. I've just done so much. As much detail as people put into their houses. I've done the same type of stuff with their head through the roof.
That was some kind of barracks or something. I like it.
Yeah.
What are you preparing for here, Artemis?
Nice and relaxing.
Some kind of
sit down by the fire.
I hear there is a great war coming, my lady.
Oh, he's even growing some stuff down here.
Yeah, I've seen a few little Hydra rooms. They're funny with the elven green lights and like a bunch of plants.
Yeah.
Oh, that tells some kind of weird story. Yeah, this is cool.
But yeah, it's amazing, and again, another one of those where it's like crazy huge, and you just keep going, and you just keep, hey, here's another room that has some interesting deco stuff going on. Here's another room with some. So really looking forward to fleshing out this system, giving you guys even more options and ways that you can program your own NPC dialogue, and lots and lots of, and again, just keep going. You just, I guess we finally made it to his bedroom here.
Yeah, keys and locks, more breakable walls. Talked about mine carts, possibly elevators. Yeah, a bunch of stuff that we've thought about and we're working on it. So it's coming. You're to tell a story or have invite people over for a night to hey, come experience like
the dungeon.
The dungeon, basically, yeah.
All right.
May I read the pricing?
Oh, sorry.
I'll call out more names here, but
the winner of the row lot property deed is Lady Shimizu. The Dragon Mask winner is, I'm going to guess, Sir Drosankis. Sounds Greek. The winner of the ornate greenhouse 4-story row home goes to Lady Freya. The barn 2-story village home, Lady Helen. The ornate scythe, Lord Gradius. The 2018 Jack-o'-lantern set. Sir Durin Toad Sticker.
Toad Sticker.
From the East End Toad Stickers.
I've heard of them. They're quite respectable.
Mm-hmm.
Despite all the rumors.
Quite. The 2018 Jack-o'-lantern glowing mask goes to, I'm not sure, either Lady or Lord Samsara Invictus. The giant Grim Reaper statue with magic portal dungeon entrance goes to Sir Dinso. Very good, sirs and good ladies. I bid thee good night and safe travels.
I thought we had another half hour.
No.
I don't know how this happened.
It happened.
All right.
3 to 5 o'clock. 3 to 5 o'clock. All right. Thank you very much, community. Amazing live stream. Congratulations, winners. Congratulations, well-deserved ONBE winners, our amazing ambassadors. Amazing live streams. The dungeon system continues to expand and get better, and the work, what you guys are building with it is just incredible. Thank you. And
I just want to call out a few other names. There are so many great dungeons. I wish I had more time to get to them. I spent probably 2 hours in them this morning, but Eric Rules, Calcano.
Let's have another live stream.
Scoffer. We can do another. We'll do them next live stream. Catch up on them all. So now you got a little more time if you guys want to go polish out your dungeon. Even Elwin had he had a dance dungeon dedicated to dance stuff. Wharfgar, I mean, there are just so many. Felden Grimshaw, there are so many good dungeons that I went to that I wish I had time to show up.
Yeah, and our boss battles are getting cooler and better and more challenging. We got to show up the boss fighter battle, but Pumpkinhead's cool. Krampus is going to be cool. We've got even more in store for you next year. It's just going to get better and better. The story is going to continue to unfold because it's tied into the bosses, but it's also going to be tied into episode 2 and the expansions. So we've got so much cool stuff coming up for you. We can't wait to show it all to you. Release 61 is just coming up in a couple of weeks. Next week, we'll get it out on QA. Please, please, please help us test it. Please log in, and we're going to talk about increasing some of the rewards that you get on playing on QA. Maybe some of the even more rare QA reward items, like the Corpian chair. What?
And I forget, when does the stretch goal end for R60?
So we have today till midnight, and then next Friday, it will be the last Friday to get the stretch goals. So we have today till midnight and next Friday. So if you guys want the Dragon Sword and Pole Arm, you just have this Friday and next Friday.
But what they should be looking at is Dungeon Room with Fish Spot.
Oh, yeah. Did you guys show that?
We did, but now that I think about it, we showed it because we already made it, but it'll be a stretch goal if we don't. If not, we'll probably put it in the
you
store
showed
or
the
something.
pool.
Oh, maybe we didn't show. No, we did show a fishing pool as well. I'm not sure if that's I think there may be
No, there's a different one.
Okay, we'll see.
No, the fishing spot is going to be a cavern with a fishing spot.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah, not that one. You
have
showed
seen that one. That one
you
is-
showed the swimming pool.
Yeah, I've seen the ideas for that.
Yeah, I know. You haven't seen. They haven't seen the one that we're going to do for the stretch goal. It's going to be very cool. So we need to get to that one, which is 85K. So it's very cool. It's going to be like a cavern with a fishing spot. It'll be cool. Anyway, so 61, bind everywhere. Its quality of life is going to get way better. More fishing skills and Krampus.
And players are asking, yes, you will be able to craft the scrolls for bind everywhere.
Oh yes,
that'll be a different recipe, but yes, you'll be able to.
It's a new recipe, but you'll be able to Krampus, Craftus for everyone. You'll be able to craft the scroll, but for convenience, we're also going to make you'll be able to buy it as well. You'll be able to buy it off Crown Merchants, and you'll be able to craft it. So either way, and then next year is going to have so much cool stuff. Backslide items that can be enchanted and masterwork, crafting specialization, where you'll be able to choose specialization, and then once you've chosen that, you'll be able to pick your effects when you masterwork and enchant. It's going to be awesome. All right, we're out of time, but remember, today is your last day to buy or upgrade a Viking or a Kobold bundle, which is obviously what that pineapple is. It is a bundle, not a pineapple,
not a fish
or a skull
or chicken head.
It is also the last day to buy pineapples. If we sold pineapples, but we do not sell pineapples. Yes, we have no pineapples.
Did you know
we
they're
have
a
no
bush?
pineapples today?
Pineapples are actually a bush, not a tree. I always thought they were a tree growing up. They're actually a bush. They sprout up and they just have one big pineapple on them to start. And then you take that one, and then the next one is they have 3 smaller pineapples. And that's usually what you see at the store. And then you take that one, and then they grow 9 pineapples.
That is super exciting.
In the middle, and that's what goes in the canned pineapples. And they get sweeter at each size you go down.
I'm so glad you shared that with us. That is so exciting. Thank you.
I still have
Is this the kind of wisdom that you gain when you get old?
Yeah.
Is about pineapples? So, all right. Also, today is the last day to donate to Movember, our team mustache of the Avatar. And you can donate to Chris, who is winning, or you can donate to me, the underdog. But the most important thing is that we are helping men's health. That is what is most important. Not that
I'm going to win.
Not that Chris is winning.
Checking right
and that
now.
I'm losing. All right. Again, thank you, community. Please join us on QA next week. And then the week after that is when Release 61 goes live. It's going to have lots of cool stuff. And I think we'll be turning up rewards on QA, including that super ultra rare Scorpion chair,
Cool. Is that coming back?
I think we're going to bring it back because we need more people on QA. So we're bribing you. Yes, we are not above naked bribing. So there we go. We're just going to bribe you to get on QA and get a chance to win a Scorpion chair. It's going to happen. All right. And again, Viking and Kobold expire today forever. Those bundles are not coming back. Is your last chance. And the spooky stuff that's expiring. Some of it will recur and come back next year, but some of those, the 2018 items, are expiring forever. Midnight tonight, all those go away. So last chance. So buy or upgrade tonight. Help us get to the stretch goals. Thank you, community. You guys are awesome. And I think Chris wants to say something.
I do want to say something. You guys should set the goal, work on it now, because I know you want the dungeon room. And of course, everybody will get one of those. It won't be one where you have to go farm it for weeks and weeks and weeks. If you could get 75 tonight, and then you get 10K next week, it was just about right. I think that'll be the right at 85. I think they got a pretty good chance this time to get to the 85.
Oh, the dungeon with the fishing, with the fishing spot.
So get 75 tonight, and again, the expiration's a great opportunity because there are some big dollar items you can buy in there that you can go let people know that you bumped us up a big chunk, and all your friends will love you and want you to live in their town. But anyways, thanks everybody. Thanks so much for not just the financial support, but all the other support and all of the help you give us making the game, because we really do try and listen to you guys. I know there's a lot of people out there who get on Discord and chat me up or send me messages in the forums that I reply to almost every single one of them. But thank you so much. Thank you, and look forward to making an even better release for R61.
Yes, thank you.